At 62, Vijay Singh's life reads like a paradox, one of unparalleled achievement shadowed by profound personal struggle. Known globally as one of golf's most formidable figures, Singh's career has been defined by resilience, precision, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Yet behind the trophies, medals, and accolades lies a story few understand. A story marked by loss, frustration, and the quiet heartbreak of a man whose greatest battles are often fought far from the public eye. Born in a small village in India, Singh's early years were defined by poverty and struggle. His father worked tirelessly to support the family, instilling in Vijay the virtues of perseverance and discipline. From the very beginning, Singh showed an unusual focus on his craft. While other children played, he practiced tirelessly, molding raw talent into skill that would eventually command international attention. By the time he reached adulthood, he had developed not only an extraordinary ability on the golf course, but a mental toughness that would become both his greatest asset and, paradoxically, the source of some of his deepest struggles. Singh's rise to prominence was meteoric. He dominated the PGA Tour, winning major championships and earning the admiration of fans worldwide. His swing, powerful yet elegant, became a symbol of mastery, and his dedication to the sport seemed unshakable. Yet, even as trophies filled his shelves, Singh faced pressures that few outsiders could understand. The demands of professional golf are relentless, and behind the glamour lies a lifestyle of constant travel, scrutiny, and the unyielding expectation to perform. By the age of 62, Singh's body began to reflect the toll of decades spent at the highest level. Injuries that had been minor irritations became chronic, limiting his mobility and, in many ways, his sense of independence. Chronic back pain, joint issues, and the cumulative effect of repetitive strain turned even the simplest actions into exercises in patience and endurance. The man who once carved golf courses with grace and precision now found himself contending with a body that sometimes refused to cooperate. For someone whose identity had been intertwined with physical prowess, this was a profound and humbling challenge. Beyond the physical, Singh's personal life has also been marked by struggle. Years on tour kept him away from family, and the relationships he had hoped to nurture often suffered. While he maintained a close bond with loved ones, the pressures of fame and expectation meant that solitude became a constant companion. Friends noticed changes over the years, moments of uncharacteristic frustration, rare glimpses of vulnerability, and a quiet reflection that spoke to the inner weight he carried. The public saw only the victories and the confident smile. The private reality was far more complex. Financial stress added another layer of difficulty. Despite earning millions over his career, Singh faced challenges with investments and financial planning. Decisions made in trust sometimes went awry, and the uncertainty that followed was both humbling and disheartening. For a man who had achieved so much, the necessity of navigating unforeseen complications was a stark reminder that life's challenges often transcend talent and success. Social perception, too, played its role in his struggles. Aging in a sport that prizes youth and consistency brings scrutiny. Comparisons to younger champions, commentary about diminishing performance, and the immediacy of social media sometimes amplified feelings of isolation and vulnerability. For Singh, who had spent decades projecting strength, the subtle erosion of public perception was both painful and instructive. It revealed that even legends must grapple with change and impermanence. Yet, amidst this heartbreak, Singh has continued to demonstrate resilience. His involvement in mentoring young golfers, charitable initiatives, and advocacy for mental health reflects a commitment to using his experiences for the benefit of others. He has spoken openly about the psychological toll of professional sport, highlighting the realities behind the glamour. In doing so, Singh transforms personal tragedy into lessons that resonate far beyond the golf course. At 62, Vijay Singh's story is a tapestry woven with triumph and tragedy. It challenges assumptions about fame, success, and the meaning of legacy. While the world may celebrate his victories, the true measure of his journey lies in the quiet perseverance, the battles fought without fanfare, and the human vulnerability behind the public persona. Singh's narrative reminds us that achievement does not shield from hardship, that even the most accomplished individuals face moments of profound struggle, and that resilience is not defined solely by what one wins, but by how one endures. Ultimately, the tragedy of Vijay Singh is not a simple tale of decline or defeat. It is a testament to the complexity of human experience. It is the story of a man who gave everything to his passion, who faced the inevitable consequences of a life devoted to excellence, and who continues to navigate the delicate balance between public acclaim and private challenge. In recognizing this reality, we see not only heartbreak, but also the enduring humanity of a legend whose journey remains both inspiring and profoundly poignant. The years after Vijay Singh's peak performance revealed a side of life that no championship or applause could shield him from. Despite his legacy, he began to confront the harsh reality that fame and skill do not immunize one against loneliness, loss, or personal struggle. The world remembered his perfect drives and his victories, but few saw the quiet battles he faced in solitude, the emotional weight that accompanied his aging body, and the subtle erosion of confidence that crept in when performance no longer came as easily as it once had. Traveling the globe had once been exhilarating, but as the decades piled on, it became a source of fatigue and strain. Airports, hotel rooms, and tournament greens, places that once symbolized opportunity, slowly transformed into reminders of a life consumed by obligation. The relentless schedule had separated him from moments he could have shared with loved ones, and the absence of these small joys left emotional scars. In interviews, Singh often speaks about the importance of family and community, yet the reality of his life on tour frequently meant that he could witness milestones and celebrations only from afar, a silent spectator to the very relationships he valued most. Physically, the challenges compounded. Golf may seem gentle from the outside, but the precision, repetition, and mental strain exact a high cost over time. Singh's body bore the evidence of decades at the pinnacle of the sport. Back spasms, knee pain, and the lingering effects of injuries once thought minor. Each swing required conscious effort, a reminder of the fragility that comes with age. Even routine exercises or leisure play carried the shadow of injury, transforming what had been his greatest joy into a mixture of pleasure and caution. Financial concerns, though often hidden from public view, added another layer to his struggle. Singh, like many athletes, trusted advisors to manage investments and wealth. Yet, as happens to even the most successful, not all decisions yielded favorable outcomes. Missteps and unforeseen complications challenged his sense of security, creating stress in a period of life where stability had become increasingly important. The intersection of financial strain and physical limitations underscored a difficult truth. Victory and reputation cannot erase vulnerability, and the markers of success are often accompanied by equally invisible burdens. Public expectation intensified these struggles. Fans revered Singh, yet the inevitability of aging meant that scrutiny became sharper. Commentators speculated on performance declines, while social media amplified every misstep. In an era where visibility is inescapable, the contrast between public perception and private reality can be brutal. Singh, a man who had spent decades commanding respect on and off the course, had to confront the reality that respect alone cannot protect against criticism or the inevitability of time. Despite these pressures, Singh continued to exhibit extraordinary resilience. His work mentoring young golfers provided purpose beyond personal glory. By sharing his experiences, the triumphs, failures, and the lessons hidden in pain, he became a guide not only for aspiring athletes, but for anyone striving to navigate the complexities of life. His advocacy for mental health in sport has been particularly impactful, breaking the silence on topics often avoided in competitive environments. Singh's willingness to reveal vulnerability reflects courage, highlighting that true strength is not the absence of struggle, but the acknowledgement of it. The emotional toll, however, has never fully dissipated. Loneliness and isolation, compounded by physical pain, have left an imprint on Singh's later years. Personal relationships, though cherished, are navigated with the awareness that time and distance have altered their dynamics. Friends note that he sometimes retreats into reflection, contemplating not just his achievements but the moments he missed, the connections that could have been deeper, and the life lived partially in the service of a relentless pursuit of excellence. It is a reflection both sobering and deeply human. At 62, the story of Vijay Singh is not merely about decline or hardship. It is a narrative of perseverance, a testament to enduring spirit. Each setback, physical, financial, or emotional, has been met with the same determination that once propelled him to the top of the golfing world. Even when confronted with pain and uncertainty, Singh maintains a commitment to his sport, to his family, and to the legacy he continues to build. The tragedy lies not in defeat, but in the quiet, often invisible struggles that accompany even the most celebrated lives. For those who admire Singh, the lesson is profound. It is a reminder that greatness is inseparable from vulnerability, and that every public triumph often conceals private trials. The story urges compassion and understanding, illuminating the costs of a life devoted to excellence. His journey teaches that while victory is fleeting, resilience, integrity, and a willingness to confront challenges define the truest measure of character. The tragedy of Vijay Singh, at this stage in life, is a complex mosaic. The ache of a body pushed beyond limits, the isolation of a life lived in constant pursuit of achievement, and the emotional burden of navigating aging and expectation. Yet within this mosaic is a narrative of remarkable courage, of a man who continues to rise to challenges, who refuses to let adversity define him entirely. He stands as both a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration, a figure whose life reminds us that behind every public icon lies the deeply human experience of struggle, endurance, and the pursuit of meaning beyond applause. In the end, Vijay Singh's story at 62 is more than a tale of tragedy. It is a portrait of resilience, a meditation on the costs of greatness, and a call to recognize the humanity behind legendary figures. It compels us to see beyond the medals, to understand the sacrifices, and to honor the strength required to navigate life's unrelenting trials. His journey is a sobering, yet inspiring, testament to the reality that even in heartbreak, there is dignity, and in struggle, there is profound human grace. By the time Vijay Singh reached 62, the public narrative of his life, one dominated by victory and acclaim, had begun to diverge sharply from his private reality. While fans celebrated his past triumphs and iconic moments on the PGA Tour, Singh faced the quiet erosion of the very foundations that had once defined him. His physical body, a vessel honed over decades of relentless practice, had grown fragile. Chronic injuries, particularly in his back and knees, demanded a careful recalibration of even the simplest activities. The swing that had once been the envy of his peers now required meticulous planning and careful management, a painful reminder that time spares no one, not even legends. It was not merely the physical strain that marked this stage of Singh's life. The emotional and psychological toll of a career spent under the unforgiving gaze of spectators, media, and social expectation began to accumulate in subtle but profound ways. Years on tour had exacted an invisible price. Strained family connections, friendships tested by distance and circumstance, and the quiet isolation that often accompanies fame. In interviews and personal reflections, Singh has described moments of solitude where the weight of his accomplishments seemed almost irrelevant compared to the yearning for genuine connection and the comfort of familiarity. Professional pressures persisted, even as he stepped back from competitive play. The world of golf, perpetually focused on emerging talent, often casts aging legends in the harsh light of comparison. Singh, who had once defined excellence, now observed new generations rising with vigor and energy, inevitably leading to internal reflection. How much of his identity had been intertwined with performance? How would he measure his worth when the applause of the crowd no longer punctuated his every move? These questions, unspoken yet persistent, accompanied him through the quieter moments of his daily life. Financial and logistical complexities further compounded the challenges. Investments that once promised security sometimes faltered, and navigating these unexpected hurdles became an additional layer of stress. Even for a man of immense achievement, the uncertainty brought by financial missteps or advisory errors is deeply humbling. Singh faced these obstacles privately, aware that public perception rarely accounted for the silent battles behind the headlines. The juxtaposition of public reverence with private difficulty created a nuanced tension, shaping a life that was at once celebrated and quietly tested. Relationships, too, bore the strain of years defined by professional devotion. While Singh maintained close ties with family and trusted friends, the demands of travel and competition often meant that pivotal moments were missed, replaced by memories mediated through distance and absence. Personal connections required careful tending, and the recognition of missed opportunities weighed heavily on him. The tension between career obligations and the desire for intimacy is a recurring theme in the stories of many athletes. Yet Singh's experience carries unique resonance given the scale of his fame and the expectations placed upon him from an early age. Amid these challenges, Singh's resilience remained unmistakable. His efforts to mentor young golfers exemplified his desire to transform personal struggle into guidance for others. He spoke candidly about the mental pressures of professional sport, acknowledging both triumphs and setbacks as equally instructive. In sharing the realities behind the glamorized image of professional life, Singh became a voice for honesty in an arena often dominated by curated success. His openness about vulnerability, disappointment, and resilience created a narrative that extended beyond athletic achievement, touching on universal themes of perseverance, human limitation, and emotional courage. Public perception, while often celebratory, could be unforgiving. In a social media era, every misstep, whether a missed tournament, an injury-induced absence, or a candid reflection, became fodder for scrutiny. Singh, accustomed to commanding attention through skill and confidence, now faced the challenge of navigating critique that was sometimes harsh, often impersonal, and always persistent. The dichotomy between legacy and immediacy highlighted the complexity of living under continuous observation, where public admiration is frequently juxtaposed with relentless evaluation. Despite the emotional, physical, and financial pressures, Singh has demonstrated a profound commitment to finding purpose beyond personal accolades. Philanthropy, mentorship, and advocacy for mental health and sport became avenues through which he sought to channel experience into meaningful impact. These pursuits, though less visible than tournament victories, reveal a depth of character defined not by trophies, but by the willingness to confront adversity, learn from it, and support others facing similar challenges. Singh's journey illustrates that true legacy encompasses more than success. It is equally shaped by empathy, resilience, and contribution. The tragedy of Vijay Singh at 62 is multifaceted. It is a story of physical limitation, emotional weight, and the tension between public perception and private reality. It is also a story of continued agency and dignity. Even in moments of struggle, Singh exercises choice, whether to step back from competition, to mentor, or to speak openly about the pressures he has endured. These decisions reflect a nuanced understanding that while the uncontrollable aspects of life can challenge, they do not define one's essence entirely. Singh's story challenges conventional narratives about success and aging. It asks audiences to consider the humanity behind achievement, to acknowledge that triumph often comes with sacrifice, and that legacy includes the struggles that accompany even the most extraordinary accomplishments. In revealing vulnerability, Singh offers insight into the costs of excellence, the complexity of human ambition, and the courage required to navigate life beyond public acclaim. Ultimately, Vijay Singh's experience at 62 is both heartbreaking and instructive. It is a testament to endurance, a reflection on the hidden costs of fame, and a reminder that even legends must confront adversity on a profoundly human scale. In recognizing the depth of his struggles, we are invited to appreciate not only his victories, but also the resilience, dignity, and introspection that continue to define him. The tragedy is not merely in loss or limitation, but in the profound honesty with which he faces the reality of a life shaped by extraordinary achievement, relentless expectation, and the quiet challenges of the human condition. As Vijay Singh navigates life at 62, the contrast between public adulation and private struggle becomes increasingly pronounced. On the surface, he remains a figure of respect and admiration, celebrated for decades of remarkable achievements on the golf course. Yet beneath the trophies, media coverage, and fanfare lies a man grappling with challenges that no championship can mitigate. Chronic pain, emotional fatigue, and the weight of long-term personal sacrifices have gradually reshaped his day-to-day existence, highlighting the hidden costs of a life devoted entirely to excellence. Singh's physical condition remains a constant reminder of the price he has paid for his career. Years of competitive golf, intense training, and countless tournaments have left their mark. Back spasms, knee problems, and lingering muscular injuries limit his mobility and often dictate the pace of his daily activities. Even casual rounds of golf, once sources of joy and relaxation, are now approached with caution, balancing passion with practicality. The irony is profound. The very discipline and drive that propelled him to greatness now serve as a reminder of the body's fragility and the inevitable toll of time. Emotionally, Singh faces challenges that extend far beyond the golf course. Loneliness and isolation, consequences of a career defined by travel and competition, remain persistent companions. Decades spent away from home, combined with the pressure to maintain a public persona of strength and composure, have often left him navigating moments of vulnerability in private. Friends and colleagues note that he occasionally retreats into deep reflection, contemplating the intersections of success, sacrifice, and the passage of time. These introspective periods underscore the human dimension of a life otherwise defined by accomplishment. Financial matters, while less visible than physical or emotional struggles, also present ongoing considerations. Investments, management decisions, and unforeseen expenses require careful attention. Singh's experience reflects a common reality among professional athletes. Wealth and fame do not automatically safeguard against financial uncertainty. The lessons learned from these challenges are often quietly instructive, revealing the importance of prudence, vigilance, and reliance on trustworthy advisors, even for those who have reached the pinnacle of success. Relationships, though cherished, are approached with awareness of their fragility. Years of distance and demanding schedules have required conscious effort to maintain bonds with family and friends. Singh's reflections reveal a deep appreciation for these connections, tempered by regret for moments that could not be shared or experiences missed. In this sense, his story resonates beyond sport, touching on universal themes of human connection, the balance between personal ambition and relational fulfillment, and the inevitable compromises life demands. Mentorship has become a central focus for Singh in these years. By guiding younger golfers, he translates his experience into lessons about resilience, discipline, and navigating both success and setback. His openness about mental health challenges in professional sport has positioned him as a voice of guidance and empathy, extending the impact of his career far beyond the boundaries of competition. In sharing the complexities of his journey, Singh transforms personal adversity into a source of inspiration, providing a roadmap for others confronting similar pressures. Public perception, though largely favorable, continues to shape Singh's reality in subtle ways. Social media commentary, news analysis, and public speculation remind him that visibility carries both admiration and scrutiny. Aging athletes often face comparisons to rising stars, and Singh has confronted the tension between his enduring legacy and the shifting standards of performance. These experiences illuminate a fundamental truth about public life. The audience often sees only achievements and accolades, rarely the nuanced struggles that underlie them. Despite these multifaceted challenges, Singh's resilience remains a defining feature of his character. His approach to adversity is not merely reactive, it is proactive and reflective. He maintains routines that prioritize both physical rehabilitation and mental well-being, while simultaneously seeking avenues to give back to the sport and community that have shaped his life. The narrative of Vijay Singh at 62 is not one of surrender, but of adaptation, demonstrating that true strength encompasses both endurance and the courage to embrace vulnerability. The tragedy inherent in Singh's current chapter is not confined to physical limitations or public expectations. It is rooted in the tension between what was once fully possible and what remains attainable, between the grandeur of past achievements and the quiet reality of aging. Yet within this tragedy lies profound meaning. By confronting these challenges openly, Singh offers a lesson in humility, perseverance, and the enduring human spirit. He exemplifies that dignity is not defined solely by accolades or wealth, but by the capacity to navigate life's inevitable trials with honesty and purpose. Singh's story at 62 serves as both a cautionary tale and an inspiring narrative. It reminds us that the pursuit of greatness carries complex costs, physical, emotional, and relational, but also the potential for insight, resilience, and contribution that transcends individual achievement. Observing his journey, fans and fellow athletes alike are prompted to consider the deeper dimensions of legacy, the personal sacrifices, the hidden struggles, and the strength required to confront life beyond the spotlight. Ultimately, Vijay Singh's journey underscores the duality of a life devoted to excellence. It is both heartbreaking and heroic, marked by limitations yet defined by determination, burdened by isolation yet enlivened by mentorship, and shadowed by past sacrifice yet illuminated by enduring courage. At 62, he stands as a testament to the realities behind fame. That even the most accomplished figures face vulnerability, that success is inseparable from personal cost, and that resilience, the ability to confront adversity with integrity, is the truest measure of greatness. Singh's narrative compels reflection, empathy, and admiration, revealing the profound humanity behind the legend. Even as the world continues to celebrate Vijay Singh's past victories, the reality of his life at 62 is shaped less by applause and more by the quiet trials that accompany aging, fame, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. His body, long a finely tuned instrument of athletic prowess, now carries reminders of decades of competitive pressure. Chronic back pain, knee strain, and muscular fatigue limit not only his movement, but also the ease with which he engages in the sport that once defined him. Each step, each swing, becomes a deliberate act, a negotiation between desire and limitation, reflecting both the human fragility and the persistence of will. Beyond physical challenges, Singh confronts emotional and psychological pressures that are equally formidable. The isolation inherent in a career spent largely on the road, away from family and familiar support networks, has left subtle but enduring marks. Relationships require conscious attention, and moments that were once taken for granted must now be approached with mindfulness and care. The weight of missed birthdays, family gatherings, and shared experiences lingers, reminding him that time, unlike competition, is unrelenting and irreversible. Financial responsibilities and management, though less visible than injuries or emotional struggles, remain a constant consideration. Even for an athlete of Singh's caliber, wealth is not an absolute safeguard. Investments, advisory missteps, and unexpected expenses require vigilance and prudence. These challenges, while often quiet, underscore the reality that the consequences of decisions, both past and present, continue to shape his daily experience. In this sense, Singh's life illustrates a fundamental truth. The markers of public success do not erase the complexities of personal life. Social perception compounds these pressures. While fans remember his victories and his iconic presence on the golf course, social media and commentary offer a mixed mirror. Praise is often interlaced with speculation about diminished capacity, comparisons to younger athletes, and assumptions about life beyond competition. Singh, who once defined excellence in measurable terms, strokes, rankings, and trophies, now confronts a more abstract measure of legacy, respect that is simultaneously enduring and vulnerable to interpretation. Navigating this tension requires emotional intelligence, patience, and a reframing of personal identity beyond the quantifiable metrics of past performance. Amid these intersecting challenges, Singh's resilience continues to manifest in meaningful ways. Mentorship has become a primary outlet, allowing him to impart wisdom accumulated over decades. Young athletes benefit not only from his technical knowledge, but from his candid reflections on the pressures, sacrifices, and emotional realities of a career in professional sport. Singh's willingness to discuss mental health openly and to share personal struggles provides guidance, hope, and authenticity in a field where public personas often obscure human complexity. Through these efforts, he channels personal hardship into social contribution, transforming private challenges into public lessons. Emotionally, the landscape remains complex. Loneliness and isolation persist, yet are tempered by the presence of family, friends, and protégés who anchor him in moments of connection and support. Reflection on missed opportunities and the cost of relentless ambition brings both sorrow and insight. Singh's journey at 62 is therefore not solely a story of loss. It is also a narrative of awareness, introspection, and the ongoing negotiation of identity in the aftermath of extraordinary achievement. The tragic dimension of Singh's current reality is subtle, embedded in the contrast between past glory and present constraint. Victory is no longer measured purely in wins or rankings, but in the maintenance of dignity, the navigation of limitations, and the courage to continue despite adversity. In confronting physical pain, financial complexity, and social scrutiny, Singh embodies the struggle inherent to aging within a public life. Yet his response, to persist, adapt, and contribute, demonstrates the resilience that has defined him from his earliest days as a young golfer in India to his current status as a global icon. This stage of life also invites broader reflection on the nature of legacy. Singh's story challenges conventional perceptions of success, emphasizing that endurance, integrity, and the ability to adapt in the face of adversity are as significant as trophies and accolades. His narrative is a reminder that behind every celebrated figure lies a human experience shaped by compromise, limitation, and the persistent effort to reconcile ambition with reality. Fans and observers, when invited to consider these dimensions, gain a deeper appreciation not only of Singh's career, but of the broader human experience that underlies achievement. The interplay between public admiration and private struggle renders Singh's story deeply instructive. It highlights that even those who seem invincible are subject to vulnerability and uncertainty. It demonstrates that greatness carries cost, often hidden from view, and that resilience is not measured solely by outward success, but by the ability to confront and navigate life's ongoing challenges. Singh's life at 62 thus functions as both cautionary tale and source of inspiration, illustrating the necessity of balance, reflection, and perseverance in the pursuit of a meaningful life. Ultimately, Vijay Singh's experience at this stage is defined by duality, triumph shadowed by limitation, visibility contrasted with solitude, and enduring while tempered by the inevitabilities of aging. His story underscores the profound human truths that accompany a life lived in pursuit of excellence. The sacrifices required, the invisible struggles endured, and the ongoing quest for dignity, connection, and purpose. Even as the world continues to celebrate his achievements, Singh's most profound lessons emerge from the quiet courage with which he faces life beyond the trophies, revealing both the tragedy and the inspiring resilience of a man who has given everything to his passion and continues to navigate the complex realities of life at 62. Even as Vijay Singh reflects on a life marked by extraordinary achievement, the reality of his 62nd year presents challenges that no accolades can fully mitigate. Fame, trophies, and historical recognition coexist with subtle struggles, both visible and invisible, that reveal the true cost of a life devoted entirely to excellence. The public sees the legend, but only Singh knows the intimate details of late nights spent in reflection, moments of solitude punctuated by pain, and the constant negotiation between ambition and the limitations of age. Physically, Singh faces the cumulative toll of decades on the golf course. Back injuries, knee strain, and muscular wear dictate not only his daily movements but also the approach to the sport that defined his life. Each practice swing, each casual round, must be balanced with mindfulness and care. The physical limitations that emerge in these years are more than mere inconvenience. They serve as persistent reminders of mortality and the impermanence of physical prowess. Singh, once celebrated for consistency and power, must now reconcile with the reality that time is an unrelenting opponent, one against which even a champion cannot prevail. Emotionally, the journey is equally complex. Years of global travel and professional focus have left both subtle and pronounced impacts on his personal life. Family gatherings missed, quiet milestones unattended, and the inability to share everyday moments with loved ones have created emotional gaps that cannot easily be filled. Solitude, once a rare interlude, has become a companion in which reflection on life's choices is inevitable. This reflective space, while sometimes sorrowful, also provides a canvas for understanding, learning, and appreciating the nuances of a life that has been both extraordinary and exacting. The professional landscape, though less central than in previous decades, continues to influence Singh's experience. Comparisons to younger athletes and the ever-present public gaze introduce subtle pressures, reminding him that legacy is not a static construct, but a constantly interpreted narrative. Social media and public commentary, often unrelenting in their scrutiny, amplify this pressure, juxtaposing the accolades of the past against the realities of present limitations. Singh, with characteristic humility and wisdom, navigates this terrain with measured patience, acknowledging both admiration and critique without letting either define him completely. Financial and logistical realities add another layer of responsibility. Despite substantial earnings and past success, the management of resources requires careful attention. Investment decisions, unforeseen expenses, and the complexities of wealth management are ongoing considerations, illustrating that even those with public acclaim face challenges that demand prudence and foresight. These experiences further humanize Singh, underscoring that achievement in the spotlight does not eliminate the very real responsibilities and uncertainties of daily life. Mentorship remains a vital outlet for Singh's continued engagement with the world of golf and beyond. By imparting his technical expertise, strategic insights, and personal lessons learned through adversity, he nurtures the next generation of athletes. More importantly, Singh emphasizes the psychological aspects of competitive sport, speaking candidly about the mental strain, emotional fatigue, and personal sacrifices that accompany professional excellence. This openness has cultivated a legacy not merely of performance, but of wisdom and empathy, extending his impact far beyond his individual victories. The personal dimension of Singh's experience is equally compelling. Relationships, though treasured, must be approached with conscious effort. Time away from family and friends during the peak of his career necessitated compensatory engagement in later years, often requiring patience, intentionality, and emotional investment. The recognition of missed opportunities coexists with gratitude for relationships maintained, illustrating the duality of a life spent navigating ambition and personal connection. Singh's reflections on these matters offer universal insight. The balance between career pursuit and relational fulfillment is both delicate and consequential. Social perception continues to shape Singh's narrative, even in retirement. While fans celebrate his past achievements, the scrutiny of public discourse and commentary can feel intrusive or judgmental. Aging in the public eye brings attention not only to accomplishments but also to perceived declines or limitations, challenging the sense of identity that had been historically tied to performance. Singh's approach, combining resilience, patience, and humility, offers a roadmap for navigating public attention without allowing it to undermine personal well-being or self-conception. Despite these multifaceted challenges, Singh demonstrates remarkable fortitude. His continued engagement with golf, mentorship, and philanthropy reflect a life not defined solely by struggle, but by agency, choice, and ongoing contribution. He exemplifies the principle that resilience is not merely enduring adversity, but actively transforming it into opportunities for growth, influence, and meaningful connection. The tragedy in his story lies not in failure, but in the subtle, often invisible costs of greatness. The triumph lies in the continued courage to persevere, reflect, and contribute. Ultimately, Vijay Singh's experience at 62 presents a narrative of complexity, endurance, and profound humanity. It juxtaposes public recognition with private trials, achievement with limitation, and fame with solitude. His story challenges simplistic narratives of success, offering instead a multidimensional portrait in which resilience, humility, and insight emerge as the truest markers of greatness. For fans, aspiring athletes, and observers of human endeavor, Singh's journey provides a compelling lesson that the measure of a life well lived is not simply trophies won or accolades earned, but the courage, dignity, and thoughtful reflection with which one navigates both triumph and adversity. In acknowledging the depth of his struggles and the grace with which he meets them, we see the full measure of Vijay Singh, not only as a legendary golfer, but as a profoundly human figure whose journey continues to offer inspiration, humility, and the enduring testament that life's greatest lessons often emerge from its most challenging moments. His tragedy at 62 is inseparable from his legacy, revealing both the cost of ambition and the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. At 62, Vijay Singh's life offers a compelling portrait of complexity and endurance. The world continues to celebrate him as a golfing legend, yet beneath the trophies and public acclaim lies a narrative that few truly understand. For Singh, the victories of the past exist alongside persistent challenges that are less visible but deeply felt. Chronic injuries, emotional fatigue, and the lingering effects of a lifetime devoted to performance create a layered reality, one that underscores the human cost of professional achievement at the highest level. The physical toll of decades in competitive golf is relentless. Singh's back and knees, subjected to repeated strain over years of tournaments and practice, remind him daily of his mortality. The body that once executed swings with precision now requires careful management and moderation. Even recreational play demands consideration, illustrating the irony that the very discipline that led to greatness also imposes limitations in later life. Singh's awareness of these constraints exemplifies a broader theme: the inevitability of aging and the need for adaptation, even for those once considered invincible. Emotionally, Singh confronts challenges that are equally profound. Years spent traveling the globe, competing at the highest level, and adhering to a strict regimen have contributed to periods of solitude and introspection. Relationships with family and friends, while cherished, must often be navigated with intentionality, making each moment of connection significant. The distance imposed by professional obligations and the relentless pursuit of excellence has created gaps that cannot be fully reconciled, highlighting the tension between career success and personal fulfillment. Financial and administrative responsibilities persist as additional sources of pressure. Despite accumulated wealth and achievements, the management of investments, unexpected expenses, and planning for future stability demand attention and care. Singh's experience illustrates that even iconic figures are not immune to the challenges of financial stewardship, emphasizing the importance of prudence and the long-term consequences of past decisions. The intersection of public recognition and private accountability adds layers of complexity to his daily life. Public perception remains a double-edged sword. Singh is admired, respected, and celebrated. Yet aging in the public eye brings scrutiny, comparisons to emerging athletes, and commentary on perceived declines. Social media, in particular, amplifies the tension between past performance and present capability, reminding Singh that legacy is continuously interpreted by the public. Navigating this landscape requires patience, emotional intelligence, and a reframing of identity beyond mere statistics, trophies, or accolades. Mentorship has emerged as a vital dimension of Singh's later years. By guiding younger golfers, he imparts not only technical expertise, but lessons on resilience, mental health, and the psychological demands of professional sport. His willingness to discuss vulnerability, setbacks, and coping mechanisms transforms personal hardship into guidance for others, reinforcing the broader impact of his legacy. In this way, Singh continues to shape the sport and the lives of aspiring athletes, turning challenges into opportunities for influence and growth. Emotionally, Singh balances reflection with action. The acknowledgement of missed opportunities and the weight of past sacrifices coexist with a commitment to meaningful engagement, whether through family, mentorship, or philanthropy. This duality underscores the nuanced nature of human experience. Achievement does not erase struggle, and resilience is measured not only by victories, but by the courage to confront limitations, uncertainty, and loss with dignity. The tragic aspect of Singh's current reality lies not in failure, but in the quiet, ongoing cost of greatness. Decades of relentless pursuit of excellence have left an imprint on body, mind, and personal relationships. Loneliness, emotional fatigue, and the complexity of navigating a life lived largely in the spotlight are subtle yet persistent challenges. Yet within these trials resides an enduring sense of agency. Singh continues to make conscious choices to mentor, to contribute, and to engage, demonstrating that resilience is as much about action as it is about endurance. This stage of Singh's life offers lessons on legacy and the human experience. True greatness, it suggests, is inseparable from vulnerability, reflection, and the ability to confront adversity. Public recognition may capture moments of triumph, but the most profound narrative emerges from the continuous navigation of challenge and the cultivation of purpose beyond individual accolades. Singh exemplifies this dynamic, illustrating that life's meaning is defined not only by achievement, but by the grace, insight, and compassion exercised along the way. Ultimately, Vijay Singh's story at 62 is both heartbreaking and inspiring. It reflects the complex interplay of triumph, limitation, and human resilience. The narrative demonstrates that even the most celebrated figures face private trials, that the passage of time imposes challenges regardless of skill or fame, and that courage is measured by the willingness to continue engaging with life fully, despite uncertainty and constraint. Singh's journey provides a model for understanding the deeper realities behind public success, emphasizing reflection, endurance, and the continuing pursuit of meaningful contribution. In conclusion, the tragedy and triumph of Vijay Singh at this stage of life coexist in a delicate balance. Physical limitations, emotional challenges, and the weight of public perception are intertwined with resilience, purpose, and ongoing engagement. His story reminds us that legacy encompasses more than accolades. It is shaped by the courage to endure, the wisdom to reflect, and the ability to contribute meaningfully, even in the face of profound adversity. Singh's experience at 62 offers a sobering, yet profoundly human lesson. Greatness is inseparable from struggle, and the measure of a life lies as much in how one confronts challenges as in the victories one achieves.